This is a special meeting for January 27, convening at 5:04 p.m. City Clerk, can you please do a roll call?
Councilmember Bregman,
Here.
Councilmember Nakanishi, Councilmember Craig Hensley,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hothy, Mayor Yepes.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, now the city attorney will announce the closed session items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council will convene in closed session regarding item C2A, Public Employee Performance Evaluation for the city attorney and city clerk positions pursuant to Government Code 54957B. Item C2B, Public Employee Appointment regarding the interim city manager position pursuant to Government Code 54957B. Item C2BC, Conference on Labor Negotiations with all of the city's represented and unrepresented associations and confidential groups pursuant to Government Code 54957.6. And item C2D, Conference with Legal Counsel, Anticipated Litigation, 3 cases pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2.
Thank you so much. Is there any public comments on closed session items?
No.
All right. Okay. Council is adjourning to closed session at 5:05 p.m. The council is returning from closed session at 7:50 p.m. City Attorney, can you please report on the closed items?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council convened in closed session regarding item C2A, public employee performance evaluation for the city clerk and city attorney. Item C2B, public employee appointment for the interim city manager position. Item C2C, conference and labor negotiation with all of the city's bargaining groups, unrepresented and confidential employees, department heads, and appointees. And item C2D, conference with legal counsel on anticipated litigation regarding 3 matters. There is no reportable action at this time.
Thank you so much. This is the special meeting for January 27, convening at 7:50 p.m. City Clerk, can you do the roll call?
Councilmember Bregman,
Here?
Councilmember Nakanishi,
Here.
Councilmember Craig Hensley,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hothi,
Here.
Mayor Yepez. Here. Thank you.
Oh, it's the,
So we have a presentation, and I would like to invite Chief Garcia and Detective Valencia to the podium.
So good evening, Mayor, Council. Mayor, thank you for the opportunity to present this and for allowing me to read it. So I appreciate that. National Human Trafficking Awareness Month, Awareness and Prevention Month. Whereas human trafficking is the fastest growing and second largest criminal industry in the world, an estimated 27 million people worldwide have been exploited by traffickers, compelling them to perform various labor services or engage in commercial sex. And whereas Human Trafficking Awareness Month seeks to raise public awareness about the realities of human trafficking and to educate communities on how to recognize, prevent, and combat this exploitation. And whereas this universal crime impacts individuals across all demographics, communities, and regions, and constitutes a significant violation of human rights. And whereas the Lodi Police Department collaborates with the San Joaquin County Anti-Sex and Labor Trafficking Task Force, comprised of members from the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office, District Attorney's Office, and Probation Department to address human trafficking and bring perpetrators to justice. Together, we can create environments that prevent exploitation and trafficking, and whereas the San Joaquin County Justice Center serves as a comprehensive resource for survivors to foster a victim-centered approach to justice and restoration, and whereas Human Trafficking Awareness Month provides an opportunity to recognize that all community members can make a difference in preventing this crime. We encourage everyone to learn more about the dangers and indicators of trafficking. So now, therefore, be it resolved that on behalf of Ramon Yepez, the mayor of the city of Lodi, we do hereby proclaim the month of January 2026 as a National Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention Month in Lodi, reaffirming our commitment to eradicating human trafficking and promoting a connected, safe, and resilient community. So thank you, Mayor, again, for allowing me to present this. And, you know, I just want to take a moment to thank you and the council for allowing city staff to bring these proclamations forward. You know, it's important that we provide this information to our community, and we appreciate that you allow us to continue to bring these forward. I have Detective Valencia. He's part of our General Investigations Unit. He also, investigates the child abuse and sexual assault cases. He works diligently to bring justice to the victims who unfortunately suffer these crimes. So, Chris, present this to you.
Like you said, I'm Detective Valencia, Lodi PD. I specialize in child abuse and sexual assault investigations, as well as human trafficking. I wanted to thank the City Council for taking the time to make this proclamation, shining a light on this growing issue. Unfortunately, this issue is not just a city or county or state issue. It's worldwide, where there's millions and millions of victims worldwide generating billions of dollars of revenue. So thank you for shining light on this issue. And just like to remind everybody, if you see something, please say something. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and for bringing awareness of this problem that is very big, especially in this area. So thank you for coming. Now we're going to move to the consent calendar. City Clerk, can you please introduce the consent calendar?
Yes, Mayor, tonight we have on consent items C1 to C4. And just for, because this is a special meeting, so for the sake of transparency, I'm just going to read them off really, really quick. C1 is to accept the protocol account report from October 1, 2025 to December 1, 2025. C2 is to adopt a resolution repealing traffic resolution number 2025-190 and reenacting the complete current version of the traffic resolution, hereby approving a multi-way stop control on Crescent Avenue at Oak Street and setting a 50 miles per hour speed limit on West Lane from Harney Lane to South City limit. C3 is to adopt a resolution authorizing interim city manager or designee to award contract for 2025 to 2027 citywide on-call electrical services to Bachman and Woody Electrical Company Incorporated of Stockton. And C4 is to set a public hearing for February 18, 2026 to consider adopting a resolution setting pre-approved engineering news record adjustment index for use-based and flat water rates for residential, commercial, and industrial customers. And with that, we submit it to the City Council. There are no changes to these 4 items, so we submit it to Council for your review and approval.
All right, thank you so much. Will any members of the council would like to pull an item?
Mayor, if I could pull C2?
Okay.
Just for brief
C2?
discussion.
That was my item as well.
Okay. All right. So, yep, what is your question?
I just wanted, Mr. Nathan, if you can refresh us, because I did read the staff report, and I know that there had not been a recommendation of Public Works, but I want to clarify, because what we are doing in basically reenacting the complete current version, because I know some of the neighbors are here today, and I want to make sure that they understand that we are moving forward with approving this. So maybe you could clarify that.
Yeah, the verbiage is kind of strange, but that's kind of what we settled on. We have a traffic resolution that includes all the multi-way stops in town, all the speed limits. It's a very long document. We used to just adopt a resolution adding to it, but it became difficult to view the entirety. So I think probably last year, we switched over to now we just remove the old one, add the new one that has everything the same plus the few things that are added. So in this case, the multi-way stop at Crescent and Oak and setting a speed limit on Hutchins Street south of Harney.
Okay. Do we have a time frame for when that all might occur?
As far as the installation, I would say weeks, a couple weeks.
Okay, all right. So I appreciate clarifying that, because I think they had some questions about it too.
Sorry about the language. It's just one of
You
those things.
satisfied? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys coming. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I did have a couple questions on behalf of the residents. Is it correct to say that there's different sizes of stop signs that we can put up? Are there different options?
I'm not 100% expert on that, but I know there are bigger ones that I believe are for the higher speed and multi-lane roads.
Okay.
So I don't know the size that this one's going to be. It would just be our standard size.
And are we planning on repainting the lines as far as stop, everything else?
I'll when I have them, when they go out to do the new ones on Crescent, I'll have them touch up the ones on Oak Street as well.
Okay, that would be great. The residents are making the request that we put the larger stop signs in, so if that's something that's easily accommodable.
Yeah, I'll see what the standards are and what the standard sign options are.
Okay. If you would be able to get back to me on that, that would be great. Thank you. And that is it.
All right, thank you. So will any member of the public would like to pull any item from the consent calendar? Seeing none, I will move to council comments. Any more comments? Nope. Then I will now entertain a motion to.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, maybe members of the public might just want to comment on an item. They may be a little confused by pulling at that.
Okay, yeah, if there is any members of the public that would like to comment on this item or any of the items on the consent calendar? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to the motion.
I'm sorry, if I may get the motion one more time.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Nakanishi can't vote.
Mine doesn't come in.
Green's not.
Is it not appearing on your screen?
Now it's not appearing.
It's just
Okay.
frozen.
Okay.
Let's get this IT director in here quick.
All right, Councilmember Nakanishi, do you want to just voice your vote?
Yes, I would be happy to.
Okay. So with Councilmember Nakanishi's yes vote.
It's here now.
Okay, it passes.
But it's-
So now,
Nope, it doesn't press.
Already got you.
Okay.
Next go round.
so we have 2 items on the regular calendar. Madam City Clerk, would you like to introduce those items?
Yes. Item D1 is a communications and social media update, and I will turn that over to our PIO.
Thank you. I plugged in, so I'm just waiting. Perfect. Excellent. All right. Mayor and Council, thanks for having us this evening. I'm Nancy Soraya, Public Information Officer for the City of Lodi. And with me today, I have Bailey Caswell, who will be doing one half of the presentation. But we're honored tonight to be able to give you an update on communications and social media efforts for this city. Just a little bit of history on public information. So the city historically has managed to put out information to the public via local media like our Lodi News Sentinel or TV media for bigger news. We're also a small enough town to where word of mouth works just fine. But also some staff have generously offered their time over the years to do part-time PIO work, which has been helpful. But 2 years ago, the city hired on a full-time public information officer. But more importantly, they formalized the function of public communication and made it a priority. And this was a huge step. So this now provides us the opportunity to better serve our community, because then we now have the tools to more effectively put out information, to spur public engagement, and to create an easily recognizable brand that anybody that sees at a glance can associate with the city of Lodi, and that's pretty important. So with that primer, I want to give you a high-level overview of how communications within the city works. So there are 5 pillars we use to guide how and when we communicate with the public. The first is this crazy and ever-increasingly fast-moving news cycle. And we have to do our best to keep up with this news cycle, because if we don't, we will lose our audience. And having a department, a public information office dedicated to taking information and quickly making it digestible for the public is essential. It's essential because it maintains our authenticity and our reliability to be able to put out information as an official public source. Public education and awareness. So as a city government, we have so much to communicate all the time. And we find ourselves a lot of the time in a situation thinking we've communicated everything. We've done it in the right way, we've done it on the right channels. Therefore, every resident of Lodi and every visitor to Lodi should know everything that's happening in their city government, right? We've covered everything. Maybe not so much. And maybe, in fact, we've inundated the very audience that we want to inform with so much information that they're not listening to us anymore. So while this is a difficult formula to crack perfectly, we have to try. We represent the residents, we represent the visitors to Lodi, so it's important for us to do our best to explain to them what their city government is doing for them. One of the ways we can do that is through community engagement and by getting feedback. So by having town halls, meeting with residents one-on-one at community events. We provide them the opportunity to see and hear what's going on in their local government and give them a venue where they can share feedback and speak directly with government representatives. This is probably the most fun part about government communications, the branding. Lodi is known for wine and wine grapes, so it's natural that we have wine grapes in our logo. But beyond the logo, beyond the colors in the logo, we really have a blank canvas for any artist or marketer that comes in. So what we try to do is maintain consistency with the graphics and the imagery that we put out to create a sense of cohesiveness and grounding, which essentially means that we look like we know what we're doing, which we do. And finally, an unavoidable yet very important part of public communication is informing the public of emergencies. This was an accident from just a week or so ago that took down some power lines. And then when it's an appropriate moment, these are opportunities for us to remind the public of the do's and don'ts of, for example, being safe when swimming in the river and the lake, slowing down on Turner Road, or even just checking the batteries in your smoke detector. Simple things to make sure that the rest of the public stays safe. And if we've met all these guidelines, the hope is that we foster trust and transparency with our residents and really become the go-to for that official voice from the city. So how does all that time-sensitive information get out to the public? Well, this fancy chart explains it all. We have information flowing from City Council and the City Manager, as well as city departments, into the Public Information Office, so it's a gathering center of sorts. Then that information is transformed into something that's understandable, sometimes has a call to action for residents. And once the information is shared with the public, we inevitably get feedback, and that feedback is then shared with the City Manager, City Council, and city departments. So that feedback is used to make improvements. It's used to provide more information to the public, and it's really used to get thousands of fresh eyes on information that we see day in and day out. And we probably don't see anything wrong with what we're doing or see how we could improve it, versus somebody from the outside taking a fresh look at it could give us a perspective we probably haven't seen. And that, I think, is the true power and what comes down to the core of having a public information office, is you're able to create that feedback loop. So we get our information out through all of these outlets, which you're familiar with, our beloved Lodi News Sentinel, some local and regional TV media through our website, through the city newsletter, town halls, but also through probably the most consumed media out today to audiences young and old, people in the loop and not in the loop, and that's social media. So we have eyes on us on social media. As you can see, a lot of our departments have social media accounts. The Public Information Office supports either directly or indirectly all of these accounts. But for today's presentation, we're going to remain focused on the City of Lodi, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn accounts. And that's where Bailey comes in. So Bailey has helped us manage our presence on social media over the last year. And she's done a fantastic job helping us enhance our strategies and execute on those strategies. And so I'll let her get into the details of our social media prowess.
Well, they've never let me sit up here before. So hello, my name is Bailey Caswell. I run Bloom Creative Marketing, and I'm a local marketing consultant. I currently manage the city's social media presence alongside our public information officer. Together, we create impactful day-to-day content, social media content that makes city resources more accessible, shares public information in a timely manner, and collaborates with city departments and local agencies to share programs, events, and opportunities within the city of Lodi. It's no secret locally that I really love this town, and I've really been honored to be able to take the big Lodi vision and turn it into bite-sized day-to-day content that actually serves our city and makes things more accessible for the people who live here and care about our city too. We can go to the next slide. Oh, we're right there. So initially, our project goals, we started this project in March of 2025. The main goal was to create a cohesive public-facing image for the city of Lodi on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. At the time that we started the project, the city had a presence on Facebook only, with a little bit on LinkedIn as well. We share public information that connects Lodians with city resources and opportunities. How we make these things accessible is if you're on the city Instagram and you click the link in the bio, there is a breakdown of links that offer resources that the city website offers, connects them with what we're talking about in the social media content, so that any resource that we mention on social media is just a click away. On Facebook, we're actually able to embed those links, so we do it that way over there. We also wanted to turn the City of Lodi's strategic vision into content that shares a well-rounded view of the city's goals and priorities. I use that little wheel quite a bit in finding out content that we can share with the citizens. I also work with the Public Information Officer to share timely information on emerging issues and also cross-promote city department and local agency content. And the way we have accomplished our goals is, first of all, establishing cohesive branding. There are a lot of different types of content that we need to post on a weekly basis, whether it's, job recruitment, council meetings, special meetings, other notices, economic development, strategic planning meeting. Maybe the only time I'll say that without getting my tongue tied this evening. But establishing with all of these different pieces of content that the city has a really solid brand all the way through it. So it's always really recognizable that it's the city posting. And I would encourage anyone to look up any other city in the area or anywhere. Our city has a very superior social media presence visually. We have also implemented a consistent posting schedule. The city before our project was very good at posting when it needed to and not so great at posting when it didn't need to. What we do now is we always post every week regularly. This creates an expectation of the public that they will regularly hear from the city, and allows us in a time where maybe we don't have necessary meetings to post, where we have space in the schedule to highlight programs like the Lodi or the library or the lake or some of the more fun aspects of living in Lodi and working too. We've also developed consistency across all of our channels. Our Facebook presence, our Instagram presence, and our LinkedIn presence are all very similar, if not exactly the same. We customize content for the platforms because they all work a little differently, but the city is recognizable across all of those things. Also, resource accessibility, that is my favorite part of it, is everything that we talk about is easily accessible. You don't have to go hunt on the city website for it. We always put a link in the post, or we set up our links in Instagram to make things more accessible. We also cross-promote department content, parks, library, Lodi Electric Utility. There are some city departments that create their own content. We make sure that on the main city account, we boost that content so that people can access it wherever they're looking for city information. We're also very responsive to public information needs. Things come up last minute, there's a storm, something happens or changes. I'm very responsive to getting it done as soon as possible. I understand how important everything is, and I make everything a priority. As far as our departments and city program support, with content development, we support a few departments: economic development, community development, public works, transit, city council, the city manager's office, city clerk, and human resources. Those departments don't have dedicated social media staff or have needs that are outside of their staff, and so we come in and help when that's needed. The agency and department collaboration we do with city departments like Parks and Rec, the library, Lodi Electric Utility, and local agencies like Downtown Lodi and the Chamber of Commerce and Visit Lodi, and among others. A few programs that we've highlighted, we couldn't list them all because we'd be here for quite a while. We do council regular and special meeting notices, proclamation, recognition after council meetings, making sure that when we recognize people here, that we also recognize them online. We love to boost that positive, fun content. The Economic Development Strategic Plan, the Downtown Specific Plan, really anything that you guys are working on or the city is working on that needs to be shared, we are involved in and sharing, including the feedback for the Economic Development Strategic Plan, which is up right now if anyone wants to go give feedback. We do press releases, job postings, boards and commissions, a lot of stuff. Anything that needs to be shared is what we do. Community partnerships are a huge part of the work that we do as well. Our results, we have developed and executed a social media strategy that was designed to give the city of Lodi a consistent and cohesive brand that connects with the Lodi community and shares public information, resources, cross-promotes departmental and agency content for a unified public-facing image. Bringing a lot of information together to make it look nice and make it easily accessible for the people who need the information was the main goal here, and we accomplished it and continue to accomplish it. I also worked with the Public Information Officer to share council and city priorities, on-demand meeting notices, and supported multiple departments in the creation, posting, and sharing of social media content. We have grown the City of Lodi's online presence into a recognizable, positive, and forward-looking representation of Lodi. If you see, the city's presence on social media is informative, energetic, and most of all, collaborative. Our main goal has been to harness the city's evolving strategic vision, make resources more accessible, and share what makes us special, all while serving the needs of the whole city. And I'm really proud to say that we're accomplishing that with a little bit more with every post. We can boil it down to some numbers. When we started off, the views for Facebook were not available for that time before we started, so that's a little skewed. But our views after are at almost 2 million. I would say that that number is a little skewed because we were doing live streaming of council meetings on Facebook for a majority of that time. Recently, I think it was early September, we switched to doing them on YouTube. So some of those views and some of that engagement has switched over. And so Facebook is a little quieter these days. Our engagement doubled. Our followers on Facebook are pretty steady. We got a few more in that time period. And our profile visits are up. The reason I put visits in there is it's a good indication about how much more people are accessing resources through the content and the links and the profile that the city has on Facebook. Instagram is a different story. We started completely at zero. The city had no social media presence there at all. And I would say even comparable with an account that was larger, our account went from 0 to 6. Today it's about 625. These numbers are still very good for even that small of a following. But in a handful of months to go from 0 to 625, I'm pretty proud of that. People are noticing that the City of Lodi is on Instagram as well. And it's good to reach your audience where they are. There are many people who do not look at Facebook. There are many people who do not look at Instagram. So we like to meet citizens where they are by using both platforms. And we're growing very nicely, so it's very good to see. Our 2026 goals are to expand and align our social media strategy with the city's strategic vision, however it evolves, and to strengthen the current branding of the City of Lodi. We did a little refreshing for the new year, and we're just going to keep going with that. Also to increase access to resources and opportunities, to enhance cross-department collaboration and visibility, to maintain our rapid response communication capacity, and to streamline our content management and development. Thank you for letting me share some of our work this evening. I hope to do so much more of it in the future. And I really appreciate staff and council occasionally letting me follow you around and brag about the things that we're doing in our city. And unless anyone has any questions, I'll see you on the internet.
Sorry.
Yeah, and if you don't follow
Make
us,
sure you follow us. But yes, we're happy to take questions.
Well, thank you for the presentation, first of all. I'm going to turn to council for any clarifying questions.
Mr. Mayor, this is timely. I just came back from Cal Cities and went to a session on communications and social media. One of the things that we were presented with was to basically have a social media plan. I see the strategy, but to actually have a social media plan, and part of that plan, and we'll hear this a lot, is AI. But, what is our social media plan? So is that something, I appreciate the fact, once we get through the strategic vision and you see some of the priorities, I'd like our PIO office to have an actual social media plan, and that's something that we can all be aware of as council, because I think that benefits the council, it benefits the city, our departments, and our community members to know that we're moving forward on a priority basis. So just a suggestion.
I'm going to call on Mayor Pro Tem Hoti.
And I'll add to that, I mean, what I'm hearing is there's a variety of social media pages across different departments, and that perhaps there's not always coordination, or how do you find out if like another department's posted something, you just see it online?
Often they share it with us, but yes, I'm very proactive at looking at all of the other pages to see what they have coming up. Staff doesn't always have the capacity to add the extra step of sharing it with us, so we try to meet them halfway there.
Yeah, and I think that's the benefit of having Bailey on that end and then me internally on my end, because I will get alerted if it's something that does need to be boosted by the city account. The department will reach out and say, hey, please, can you give this some more eyes? And we communicate that way too.
Got it. And then I saw something, one of the slides that had a number of publications listed. Is that the extent of the distribution list for when we're doing like outreach to media?
No, that's not the full list, yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Just, yeah.
Thank you.
Any more comments?
Yes, I do.
Unfortunately, it's not appearing when you guys raise your hand
Yeah.
today. I don't know, some technical issue. So yes, raise your hand. Sorry about that.
Thank you,
I
Mayor.
apologize for that.
Mayor, thank you. I'm very impressed. I didn't know how far you were. The hit you had and so forth. So I, as a city council member, we didn't have this so many years ago, right? And I'm very impressed with what you guys are doing. Thank you.
Just to follow up on Councilmember Hothe's comment, Spanish language, what avenues are we hitting in terms of Spanish language publications, or you tell me?
Yeah. So primarily right now, since the city clerk's office is implementing the Brown Act Modernization Act, that has a lot of Spanish language requirements in it, starting with city council meeting agendas and then moving on to translating other things. So that's primarily where we are starting with translations. Outside of that, we were just talking about this today. If it's a public emergency, that definitely gets translated. So the storm information we put out for the recent storms, that was all translated to Spanish. I guess it's a case-by-case issue where we do translation, and it's really tough because we do it through, online ChatGPT or Google Translate, but we like to have a set of eyes, like some of my Spanish-speaking colleagues take a look at it before we put it out. But right now, it's primarily city council information, and then any public emergency information gets translated.
So I'm kind of to the next step. How are we getting the information out to Latino Times, things like that? I mean, are we reaching out to those publications and sites specific to the Hispanic community?
So they are a part of our media list that
Okay.
Councilmember Hothe was speaking to. We do reach out to them, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I would just like to state you do an excellent job. Keep on doing it. And I see the same work being done on the DBA side, so nice continuity there. Thank you again.
All right, we're going to move to public comments. City Clerk, do we have any public comments?
Mayor, I don't have any comment cards.
Okay. Any additional comments from council? Seeing none, this is just
Mayor, did you want to open it up to anyone in the audience that?
Yes, yeah, okay.
None.
Seeing none, this is just information item, so we don't need a vote or anything. So we will move on to D2.
Item D2 is the discussion of options for housing on a portion of city-owned property at 130 West Century Boulevard, and I will turn it over to Community Development for that presentation.
Give us a second. We're pulling up a very short PowerPoint. There we go. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Deputy Director of Community Development, Cynthia Marsh. This item is a discussion item requested by Council members Hothe and Craig Hensley to discuss potential site, which was approved as a housing element site when you approved the housing element in 2024 at 130 West Century Boulevard. This is a discussion item to discuss housing on a portion of the city-owned property. Here you can see in the map the overview of 130 West Central Boulevard, which is a former right-of-way, similar to the right-of-way that's on the opposite side of the railroad tracks there. That was developed for the Salis Park Senior and Veterans Housing Project. This site was listed as a potential housing element site with a zoning designation of high-density residential. Again, it's a former right-of-way. There's some debate over whether it's designated as an actual park or not. A lot of our documentation showed that it was not a designated park because it's a former right-of-way. It also does not have a formal APN or assessor parcel number. So with this item, potential options could include using a portion of the site for housing and then reserving that front portion as a small neighborhood park where the play structure is located. And also as a discussion item, if you were to want options for potential RFQ, the property would be likely required to go through the Surplus Land Act process. But these are potential items that could be discussed for a city-issued RFQ if you were to move forward. I can flip back and forth, but the initial step would be discussing those items if you would prefer to move forward with exploring further development of the site for housing development, what that would look like given the density for the site is high-density residential, which has a designated density of 15 to 35 units per acre. That would apply only, say you were to subdivide the parcel into two parcels, the density would apply to the remaining acreage, not the entire parcel. So the density could theoretically be slightly less if you were to subdivide it and maintain the park in the front portion. So you would need to discuss or consider what portion of that would remain as open space. And then if you were to prefer what level of affordability would be preferred. It is listed in the housing element as an affordable housing potential. And then there are requirements under the Surplus Land Act that we could explore to determine what those requirements would be. And that concludes my presentation and open for discussion.
If I may ask, Member Hothe, is this your district? Okay. I will most likely follow suit with what the member wants.
So first of all, you needed to do that. I needed to call through, yeah, so you skip over. But anyway, so let's move on to what is here. Any comments from the council?
You want to start?
Yeah, so I'm real familiar with this park or whatever you want to call it. My grandma's home when I was a kid was like literally right next to it. And it's always been a little under-resourced. And so if there's an option for whoever a potential developer is at this site, that there could be some related parks improvements. This is the only park in this part of the city that's, I think, within like a reasonable walking distance that I'm aware of. And so if that's, something that we could include as a part of this conversation as we explore affordable housing, I'd be open to that.
Yeah, I just want to follow up with the councilman's comments. Ms. Marsh, can you go to the slide with thank you very much? So I think this is kind of the next step that I wanted to see in terms of direction to where we might go with developing this. The idea here is that we only control a certain amount of land, and we've already identified this as a potential housing location. And I think the target residential density is reasonable for that location, and as I'm picturing it, compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. I think I want to ensure that we have input from the community, particularly with the protection of some type of park use. I think that any developer that is doing something in a family-oriented neighborhood is going to put some park, some type of green space with a park component into it. So I think it is something that, as long as that is open and available to the neighborhood, would make perfect sense, because they do need that opportunity for open space and play in that area. I think everything else, the neighborhood context is important, and we have a number of housing developers. If we can find an opportunity for a public-private partnership to make this all work, we're moving something forward in a proactive way, and I think that that's what's critical. If we want to meet our housing goals to some degree, we're going to have to initiate something and bring something to the table on some of these sites. So I would hope that council would see this as an opportunity for us to work with the development community and find an acceptable proposal for creating a housing project here. And it is just going to need a little bit more next step follow-up. So what would be, will be my question, what would be the next step that community development would propose on this?
So at this point, if there is council consensus, we would like that in the form of a motion and vote to move forward and come back to the council. I'm going to recommend, between the two processes that are spelled out within our purchasing policy, RFQ and RFP pretty much have the same weight. I think in this particular circumstances, we're still fleshing a lot of details out. I would support an RFQ process to find a qualified development group to work with.
Thank you.
And so then the direction through the motion and the vote could be return to the city council with a request for qualifications for the council to consider prior to release that are hitting the topics here. And then I will hand it off to the city attorney.
And there are some procedures with it being a right-of-way and us having to verify how it was acquired because it's marked as park land on our parks plan. So confirming required procedures based on certain state statutes required for parkland, making sure we're complying with all of those. So we'll make sure we've confirmed by title how we've acquired that and we're following the proper procedure, bring that back, and then make sure we're coming back on that before we go out.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a comment? Yeah. This is Councilman Hothi's area, right? His family lives there. My concern would be the fact that the people who live there, and if they're supportive of this, I also would like a park. You gotta have a park with it, right? And looking at this, since we have different districts and so forth, it's here, maybe here, right? And the parks, and we look at what the people want, so I could, I'll support this.
Do you have any comments?
Nope, I concur with Dr. Nakanishi.
Okay, actually for clarification, actually my district actually goes to this park. Like it's very close, like seeing eyes where me and his district border. So this park, I have actually talked for the last year about this. This park is under use, but they are not in support of affordable housing project in this park, actually.
So you're against it?
Yes, I'm against it. And actually have a proposal, counter proposal that I believe in where we did the other senior affordable housing, there is another parcel that we can use. Did that ring a bell?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, just for clarification, you're asking the procedure we took for the Salis piece?
Exactly. Is there another plot of land in that park that could be used for this same purpose of housing?
On the east side of the tracks, the Housing Authority project does consume that entire parcel. So there is no additional surface area on the east side of the railroad. The west side obviously has the only area we have here.
Okay.
City limits right now, when we did our housing element, has very finite available open spaces left in the city for development. So we did that analysis. I think we presented that analysis. So finding 3 acres or 4 acres of congregate space left in incorporated city limits is very difficult to come by right now. So we just don't have that much open space left. So I think certainly we can look at the surplus properties we do have and identified in the housing element and see if there's an alternate location that would accommodate the same opportunity, and then present that back as maybe an additional option for discussion.
See, I would like that too. And also, since the surplus of the skate park is coming back some point for parks, because that's what it was earmarked, I would like to see if we can do something in the park, like some ideas of improving it. Because I had conversation with the residents that they want to improve it. They want maybe soccer fields in there, so that it's more used by the students that go to Tokyo High, because it's very close, and they don't have parks in that area. So I would like to see, as part of the conversation, that too, that idea too, how we can improve the park.
And I think we can certainly involve parks in a discussion and bring that back as an alternate.
Mr. Mayor, may I
Yep.
ask a question? So I would like to know where this piece of land is located, whatever district. Can we have somebody speak on that?
In front of me. So it's, my district encompasses the park, and approximately 2 blocks to the north is where Mayor Yepez's district starts. And then about 2 blocks to the west is where your district starts. So all of the housing in the area around this would feed into the same elementary school, Beckman Elementary. So you could argue that there is some sort of a regional impact for, but what I also will say is there is affordable housing in existence in this area. There's apartment housing, and then there's also like condominium duplex type housing, and then that's where our district lines meet.
Okay.
I just follow up, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Personally, I'm not a huge fan of subsidized housing. But again, I am trying to hold to the opinion that if it's in a specific council member's district, I'm trying to be nice and respectful of that, so.
Well, I hope you guys remember that when it's my district. I just hope that that's the same. I get the same respect from that, but I respect that.
And I'm not trying to be crude. I believe there was a property on the east side recently too, and I think that would show that good faith gesture too.
Well, you voted against it, but anyways.
I believe, yeah, I won't speak any more on it, but no, I let you have the time.
All right, Councilwoman?
Yeah, thank you. What I think is important is what the city manager said about the RFQ process. I think the idea here is going out, getting proposals. Yes, we have indicated the fact that this is in the housing element as an affordable site. What are we talking about affordable? I don't believe subsidized housing is the direction that we need to go with this. So I think that's why we have the opportunity, just like the property on Central, as you recall, which originally was discussed as affordable, but became market rate, right? So I think it's a matter of understanding the market and the comparable housing in the area and what a potential private entity would build to. What they may say is affordable could be market rate housing. So I think that's why it's important to do the RFQ, to put some of the criteria out there and then see what comes back in proposals. And then we can have the discussion about it, because we've already kind of identified some locations in the city where in the housing element, and I would say it's, for example, Turner Road and Stockton Street. We talked about putting housing there that was affordable housing, but as we all know, that's being redeveloped now for continued use for warehousing, right? So it's not always going to be what it was that was identified in the housing element specific to a certain income level. So let's take a look at it. Let's get some proposals back and see what the market is telling us is affordable for the private sector to do.
Yeah, I will be in favor of that, and also in parallel, try to look for also what we can do in the park, how we can make it better. But I'm in agreement with what you're saying too. So if we can do
maybe
both,
that's the requirement for the public-private partnership. You make a park component that's meeting the needs of the neighborhood.
yeah, like I would like that. So,
Okay.
do we need to take a motion?
I think we need public comment
Oh, sorry.
And after public comment, a motion and a vote
Okay.
would be appreciated.
All right. So, City Clerk, do we have any public comments? I would like to open it for public comments right now. Seeing none, I will go back to council. Any more comments? Nope. I will entertain a motion.
So to open it up for RFQ, was it, to explore options at this site? So I'll go ahead and make that motion.
I'll second.
Sorry to interrupt. This is going to include also my proposal, right, of looking at how we can do in parallel, or do we need to do another motion for that?
That would be up to the maker of the motion.
Okay.
And there may be additional direction after the vote.
Sure, so could you state the?
Yeah. So what I want is that we look with parks and see if how we can improve the park. Like if they need more, maybe do a survey on the residents that are there, and maybe we can put more slides, more playgrounds, and see if it could be something else. Just explore that idea.
Yeah.
That's
okay,
what I
so
want to do.
We'll make the motion for part of this RFQ that we look at a variety of options. First, certainly housing and having like a park component, or what the options are for exploring a full-size park at this site. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yep, okay, so I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'm just going to do a roll call vote just to keep it quick. Councilmember Bregman,
Yes.
Councilmember Nakanishi,
Yes.
Councilmember Craig Hensley,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hothi,
Yes.
Mayor Yupes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, excellent, it passes. Seeing no more items in our agenda, I will adjourn this meeting in memory of Dr. Bernie Weber at 8:41 p.m.